Welcome in to Seahawks Today, powered by CBS Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. We are presented by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety company. We'll tell you more about what they do coming up later on in the show. You can start your free 14-day free trial at aura.com/chatsports. On today's show, we will talk more about DK Metcalf missing the first day of Seahawks mandatory minicamp. Also, it's not too early to talk about a contract extension for Jordyn Brooks and one Seahawks rookie sleeper to watch in 2022. Let's start with DK Metcalf, as this is officially a holdout situation. Metcalf not reporting to minicamp. This is a mid-contract negotiations. And you may be saying to yourself, well, Tyler, he's in a situation where he's recovering from an injury. That's true. Very true, in fact. But he is recovering and rehabbing in Los Angeles, not at the team facility, and that was not approved by the Seahawks for him to be in Los Angeles and not report to Seattle. So with that, the absence is not an excused absence. Look, we all remember in high school when we tried to get out of things and it was all important to get that excused absence, right? Well, that's DK Metcalf's situation. He didn't get the excused absence. So this appears to be about the contract situation involving Metcalf at this point, not the injury issue. Now, yes, obviously, with him recovering from this surgery, there's not much he would be able to do at workouts, but the fact that he's not there is what this is all about. Now, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN is reporting that there has been no major traction on an extension for Metcalf at this point. And if you recall, back this spring, Metcalf attended voluntary workouts back in April and May. So this is a different turn of events for DK Metcalf here. Let's hear more from Jake Heaps, former Seahawks quarterback. He was on a local radio station in Seattle talking about this situation. Heaps said, there really isn't a good reason for DK Metcalf not to be here in Seattle this week other than to send a message, in my opinion. Now, there's probably a lot more details that we're missing here, but from the optics perspective, from the outside looking in, this is the first red flag we have seen in a very smooth process so far this offseason. Very good points there from Jake Heaps. And to quote the great Ron Burgundy, that escalated quickly, folks. I mean, we went from a situation for DK Metcalf where it seemed like that he said he wanted to be in Seattle and that management said they were working on the extension, that everything was going the right way. And then all of a sudden, not so fast. DK Metcalf was in a situation where now he wants that bag. And with him missing minicamp, he can be fined over $90,000 for missing minicamp. That money, though, does not have to happen that way for DK Metcalf. They could erase all that in this minicamp situation. Now, more on this in just a second, but I want to hear from you guys. Should Seattle pay DK Metcalf the money that he wants? Should he get that big contract extension? We're going to show you the numbers here in just a second of what they could look like for a DK Metcalf extension. But before we do, like the video if you think the Seahawks should pay DK Metcalf. If not, for whatever reason, comment why. Tell me why they should not pay DK Metcalf at this point. All right, so here are the highest paid receivers in the NFL right now. This is just in guaranteed money. Tyreek Hill leads the way at $52.5 million. Stephon Diggs at $47.9 million. DeAndre Hopkins at $42.8 million. DJ Moore at $41.6 million. And A.J. Brown at $40 million. And the notable thing on that list, you can see there's been some player movement. Guys have not stayed present to get that money. Now, when you look at highest paid players per year, same can be said. Look at that. The first two guys mentioned, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, both have new homes this year. DeAndre Hopkins entering his second year in Arizona, along with A.J. Brown, who is now in Philadelphia after being traded. He was in the same draft class, of course, as DK Metcalf was, and then there's Stephon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills. The production for DK Metcalf through 3 years has been terrific. His rookie season, 900 yards with 7 touchdowns. That second season was the best of his career with 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. And then last year, even with Russell Wilson out for a period of time, he still managed to have a career high in touchdowns with 12 touchdown grabs and 967 yards. The depth chart for the Seahawks, you can see Metcalf and Lockett are your number one and your number two guys. But once you get beyond that, then there is a significant step down. If DK Metcalf is not on this roster, if they make a move, if they don't give him the extension and trade him, assuming they don't get a receiver back, you can see there is a huge drop-off at that point, how vital DK Metcalf is to this offense. And for this holdout, I think, and why we're using the term holdout, why it's appropriate here is with this being a contract situation, with this being an unexcused absence, Metcalf is doing this now because he could still get paid that money back in this situation of what he would be fined in a new contract. In the way training camps are set up now, if you hold out during training camp and get fined, you can't get that money back in a contract negotiation. So minicamp is your best chance to hold out and not cost you too much, especially for a guy like DK Metcalf who is still waiting on that money to come, that is not making the money now that he's going to be making later. This is a chance where it shouldn't cost him as much, but it still makes a statement of sorts for DK Metcalf there. Moving on, Jordyn Brooks. Not too early to talk about a contract extension for him either. 2 years left on his 4-year, $12 million deal. He'll be eligible for an extension at the beginning of the 2023 league year, and Brooks is expected to take on a new role. With Bobby Wagner out, he is going to be calling the shots for the Seahawks defense in 2022. Brooks, a really good player, and now it's a big moment for Jordyn Brooks in 2022. And we'll talk about the money that he can make this year in just a second of what those dollars look like, the opportunities for him. But before we do, I want to tell you about our friends at Aura, the newest partner here at Chat Sports. They provide financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, as well as online and device security, family plans for up to 5 people so you can protect you and your loved ones. And they provide identity security with extensive monitoring of your personal info. And, Producer Chugs, he was in a situation where he was trying to take care of his mom for Mother's Day and was out shopping, trying to buy her a gift, and his card got compromised. His bank didn't even tell him about it. Luckily, Producer Chugs had Aura, and they took care of him, and he was okay. Mom got what she wanted for Mother's Day, and everybody was great. So thanks to Aura for that. They're the best. They keep you safe, keep your family safe. Go to aura.com/chatsports. Get your 14-day free trial now so you can be protected like Producer Chugs. Moving on, let's talk about the contract situation for Jordyn Brooks here. Fansided put together some projections of what new deals for Jordyn Brooks could look like, as he has an opportunity this upcoming season to make a lot of money, folks. Here's what we're talking about here. If he were to sign a 3-year deal, could be in the range of about $50 million, 31 guaranteed. A 4-year deal would be about $60 million with $36 million guaranteed. And then a 5-year deal could be worth $80 million with $45 million guaranteed, according to those projections there. So, with that being said, for Jordyn Brooks, this year is the most important year of his career, not just because he's taking on a new role in leading this defense, but an opportunity to secure the bag for Jordyn Brooks here. This is a big season for him. Although the expectations aren't very high for the Seattle Seahawks this year, I think that the expectations for Jordyn Brooks should be very high for him to not only take on this new role, but also to secure his future going forward in the National Football League so he can get that money. This year is going to be pivotal for him. Now, for the Seahawks, how long should they sign Jordyn Brooks for? We showed you those contract options. Still a relatively young guy. A 3-year deal, 4-year deal, 5-year deal. Want to hear from you guys. Type it in the comments. Give me a 3, 4, or 5. They're not signing him to a 1 or 2-year deal. That's not happening. It would be a 3, 4, or 5 more than likely. What timetable would you give Jordyn Brooks? Let me know in the comments section. Type 3, 4, or 5, and let me know what you guys think. Last one for you. let's talk about Tyreke Smith, the Seahawks' sixth-round selection. We haven't mentioned Smith a whole lot on this program, but he did receive some high praise from CBS Sports over this past weekend as somebody to watch that was really under the radar. Now, we've talked a lot about how good the Seahawks draft was, but the fact that we're mentioning a late-round selection being a potential impact player right away really says a lot. More on him in just a second, but I got to thank you guys for helping us reach 27,000 subscribers on the channel. A big moment. We can't do it without you guys. We do this because of you guys here on Seahawks Today as we're bringing you daily Seattle Seahawks content. And whether it's breaking news, rumors, trades, free agency, whatever it may be, we're going to bring it to you here on Seahawks Today. You got to subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. And now that we've reached this milestone, we are just 3,000 subscribers away from the infamous Gatorade bath that you all have asked for. So we will get there one by one, but we have to keep on adding subscribers. So if you're already subscribed, tell all your friends, make sure they're subscribed. And even your enemies, make sure they're subscribed too. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Hit that red sub button below and make sure those notifications are turned on as well. All right, so back to Tyreke Smith. This is what CBS Sports had to say. One of their NFL guys, Chris Trapazzo, had to say. Smith is one of the most NFL-ready rushers in the entire draft class. I really believe that. From his size, length, bend, and most importantly, veteran-caliber collection of pass-rushing moves, he had no business being available in the fifth round. Seattle selected Boy Mafe in round 2, so he'll likely be the first priority for offensive lines to game plan to stop. But Smith is ready to hit the ground running, particularly as a pass rusher, and will. So, how about that? High praise for a sixth-round selection there. So, want to know from you guys, who will be the biggest instant impact Seahawks rookie? Who's a name that comes to mind? 9 players drafted this year by the Seahawks, including Tyreke Smith there. Give me a name in the comments section. Who will be the biggest instant impact rookie for the Seahawks? You look at the Seahawks linebackers and edge rushers. You can see Smith is going to be competing for one of those outside spots. But I would look at this, guys, and say that Boy Mafe has a chance to take one of those spots right away. I know that he's not the starter on the depth chart right now, but I'm looking for him to really step up into one of those roles. Smith, probably a rotational player, but you can see this group is going to be pretty solid for the Seahawks. Much better than I think a lot of people expected it to be with what they did with this draft in this offseason, bringing in Uchenna and Nwosu as well, and what the moves that they made there. Even with losing Bobby Wagner, this isn't a bad group for the Seahawks in 2022. I think you can be pretty happy about that, where this group is at right now. Now, before we go, I want to make sure that you are following me on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live, where I'm talking Seahawks all the time, as well as all sorts of nonsense that I'm sure annoys producer Chugs and everybody, but nonetheless, we always have a great time on Twitter. Would love to hear from you there on the other side. Slide into my DMs. Drop me a sup. Why not, right? Follow me at Tyler Jones Live, and we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.